It's going to be a massive reckoning. I recommend getting a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Having some place to hide.
Oh, yeah. All the elites are already ahead of us. Bezos got his bunker going. Zuckerberg's got his bunker going. Bunkers are the 2024 fashion.
Yeah. Bunkers, ammo, and some canned food that doesn't expire. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Stealth GPT. People are using AI to make millions of dollars. The problem is that because everyone is using AI, these AI detectors have now popped up, which can detect if your AI is actually an AI or if it's not. This is why our friends over at Stealth GPT have created the first undetectable AI. You can bring your AI content from ChatGPT or any other service into Stealth GPT, put it in, and it's completely undetectable and humanized. So click the link in my bio, join Stealth GPT today for an undetectable AI and have some fun. Let's get right into the episode. Episode 5, The Conservative Podcast. Welcome back to another banger episode. Make sure that you drop a like, drop a comment, and hit that follow button because we're uploading every single Friday around 6 p.m. Eastern. Here with Alon. What's up, baby?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. The primaries are now officially over.
I know. It's pretty crazy stuff. Those numbers coming out on Trump, 995 delegates or something close to that.
Yeah, I feel like the primaries were already over. Mm-hmm. Like before it even started. The only person in the running that I liked watching was Vivek, and he's definitely top priority for VP, top pick, which I think needs to happen. Trump and Vivek on a ticket together would go absolutely bonkers in a good way, because it would piss off the left, the far left, the radical left. Vivek would bring some libertarian independent voters, and while Trump is at the trials, Vivek will hold it down on the campaign trail because Vivek is able to communicate at the caliber and level that Trump is.
Oh, absolutely. He's an excellent communicator. The guy is, he's essentially like the human Google.
Yeah, I mean, when I met him in Iowa, he just kept going.
Yeah, that's a really cool video where you're doing the Rubik's Cube and walking.
Well, that was partly Noble's idea, and then I actually hopped onto Grok, and it gave me remember I hopped onto the Grok AI, it gave me some more ideas. But we did like a little sit down with him, and he just, even when we turned the cameras off, he just kept going, and his campaign was filled with young, ambitious 26-year-olds. It was cool to see. So yeah. I think he's the best. No,
he's awesome. Yeah, I met him when I produced the town hall for PBD and Vivek Ramaswamy sometime end of last year. Yeah, he's a fantastic speaker, really, really knowledgeable guy, really just a class act with some great information and some great solutions. The guy really is bringing a lot to the table and not just bringing up the problems, but bringing solutions, which is a rare thing to see these days.
But PBD gave Vivek a platform early. I remember after, I think it was the first or second debate, PBD gave Vivek a platform because I remember watching this episode where he remember when he got up on the stage and he's like, Ronna McDaniel needs to resign right now. She was pissed at him. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. I think we're in for a crazy year, like we've been saying.
Oh, for sure.
Trump winning is honestly inevitable at this point.
It's looking really strong. He's looking like a real big front man, and he's obviously taking the vote in the Republican Party. And I guess we'll have to just wait and see what the rest of the year unfolds for, who's going to come up in the Democratic side and see if there's any real competition. Speaking of a crazy year, there's even some more interesting things I think ahead of us. Have you heard about this eclipse on April 8th?
Eclipse on April 8th? No.
Yeah, so upcoming, there's an eclipse on April 8th, and there seems to be these kind of information bulletins circulating that are saying, keep extra cash on you, have a plan with your family, have extra gas and water. It seems like preparing for some type of natural disaster of sorts. It's
really?
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit the narrative for what you would need to prepare for a your typical eclipse. So it's interesting to see what this may be alluding to.
They're gonna need to pull something because I don't know if you saw this, but Biden lost a primary last night, and there's no one else really running against him. So he lost. It looks like Biden lost American Samoa Democratic primary. So he lost a territory. It's not a state; it's a territory. But he lost to some guy named Jason Palmer. Sounds like a Chad, to be honest. I'd rather vote for Jason Palmer over Biden. Anybody but Biden at this point. I call it ABB. My pronouns are ABB. Anybody but Biden.
I love it.
So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be a massive reckoning. I recommend getting a bunker. You know what I mean? Having some place to hide.
Oh yeah, all the elites are already ahead of us. Bezos got his bunker going. Zuckerberg's got his bunker going. Bunkers are the 2024 fashion. You know?
Bunkers, ammo, and some canned replenish like food that like doesn't expire.
Yeah,
then you're
exactly.
good. You know,
yeah. Prepare for the zombie apocalypse, or who knows, the power outage, the cell phones going down again. I mean, we had another outage again in Europe. The cables in the Red Sea were damaged, and 25% of the traffic from communication traffic from Europe and Asia in the Middle East was shut down for quite a while. So we can only see what's ahead of us, day by day, but there seems to be a lot of tension in the air, a lot of unpredictability.
Yeah, but that's life. Mm-hmm. That's life. You know what I mean? Like nothing's predictable in life except for taxes and death.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, nothing.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I mean, did anybody expect COVID? I mean, I'm sure maybe around December or January of like 2019, 2020, you might have thought something was coming, but like obviously the elites knew what was planning. But did you think COVID was coming years before it came?
To be honest with you, and this is just me being frank, I knew that they were scaling up for it with everything from the H1N1, the SARS. Each year they were pushing up more and more than they had. Like, I think there was like an Ebola scare at one moment.
Ebola, I remember Ebola too. That was from like Africa, right?
Mm-hmm,
and they were like, yeah, like don't travel. Like I remember going through airports as like a little kid and seeing like these signs where it was like Ebola this, Ebola that, like it'll eat your stomach alive and like some wild shit.
And I remember being at a friend's house and they had CNN on, and I was watching. This is more 2018 at the end of the year, and they were just kept hyping up this COVID-19 scenario.
Really?
So I had a strong sense that I could see what they were trying to do as far as move that narrative forward. But I've also grown up in other countries most of my life, so I have a better sense that of being able to kind of see through the veil of things like politically and agenda-wise with the media, because in other countries they're a little more transparent because you have a little less rights and ability to kind of push back towards the system, so they're a little bit more frank with it. They don't really try and hide what they're doing. In America, it's just as easy to see, but I think there's just so much more distraction, so much more to do, that it's easier to just kind of look at the 24-hour news cycle and what was yesterday. But if you follow the narrative, you can kind of see where things start to add up, and you can see, oh, maybe there's like a little story and position that people are building. Create the problem, bring the solution.
Well, you talk about like America versus other countries, right? Like how people don't really understand how good we have it here, even with like everything going on. It's like, yeah, you might make more money, but with how much you spend, like you could live in Mexico and still have the same amount of money in your bank account at the end of the day.
That's correct. I mean, I guess it's the cost of living. It's kind of like, living out in California, they're going to pay you more annually, but the cost of living's higher. So there's always some type of like, general, equilibrium to what people get paid and then what cost of living is. I mean, some of the better functions is to, make money in a more wealthier part of the world and then invest in a more up and coming part of the world. Then you can kind of make your dollar go longer.
But you were telling me earlier today before we started filming, about what's going on in Haiti. Mm-hmm. So is that like a civil unrest? Like, is that just like a revolution going on right now?
It's hard to say what exactly is going on. They have claimed a state of emergency.
Haiti has.
Wow. And apparently there has been some gangs have gone to the prisons and created some upheavals. I believe about 12 plus people have been killed. And they released anywhere from, and the numbers are not really accurate yet, but they say somewhere between 1,500 and 4,000 prisoners have been released from the prisons and are now roaming the streets, kind of unfettered. So it seems to be quite a disaster that's unfolding down there, and hopefully they can get some assistance from some global players quickly.
I heard that like the gangs were calling to assassinate like the leader. I guess it's the president, or I don't know what they call it in Haiti, king, president.
Mm-hmm. Possible prime minister.
Trump or Biden?
Shrimp or but is that a like a shrimp fried rice? Is that what you're talking about?
We got a bunch of shrimps buying boating right now. That's all I'll say. And they're paper handing it.
Almost, I guess, over 1 million acres of Texas is burnt to a crisp. I guess it's 80% of the grazing land for the cattle that has been destroyed from these fires. Have you heard about this?
Nah. Is this recent?
Oh yeah, it's been going on this like the past week or so. It's been just completely on fire, and I guess another couple thousand acres were burned yesterday near Amarillo, Texas. It's not looking good, and they're our biggest beef producer for the country. So when you say 80% of the cattle feed has been compromised, we got to figure out how to feed 80% of our cattle at this point if we're going to keep that meat factory going.
I thought Bill Gates was the biggest provider of meat nowadays.
I think his stuff is beyond meat. He's like, the Bed Bath, he's like in the beyond section with the meat. So
like the fake meat.
Yeah.
Like the meat that puts like a chip inside of you type of meat. Like the meat that's like not really meat but tastes like meat. And it's almost like, how does this taste like meat when it's not meat?
I know. It's almost like, I can't believe it's not baby DNA meat,
Yeah, or like I can't believe it's not butter. You ever had spray butter? Spray butter zaps.
That Pam? You talking
spray
about
butter?
Pam?
Spray butter. No. It's like actual spray butter. Like imagine like a stick of butter. Noble knows spray butter. I see the look on his face. Imagine a stick.
Got some on him.
Imagine a stick of butter melted in a bottle that you spray on like your toast. Spray butter, and they say, I can't believe it's not butter. That's their slogan.
I love it. So you could just kind of like just spray a little in your mouth, before a hot date, just kind of butter up the mouth,
Yeah, or spray some. If you're going on a date, you probably want to, spray some breath refreshener or like some mints, pop in a fucking Trident.
You never know, butter might be the new flavor she's looking for, She might not believe it's not butter either,
Would you do that? Would you go on a date with a girl and spray butter in your mouth?
Yeah, I don't know. In this day and age, you got to try anything new, Maybe spray some butter in her mouth.
The dating scene is horrible right now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
you know about that. I know.
Oh yeah. Since the invention, I think, of online dating and now OnlyFans, I feel like we're in an all-time low of moral fiber in our society as far as the dating scene. It seems like everyone's on some phonic dating system.
Now we're gonna do a podcast where we have two OnlyFans girls versus you, and I'm the moderator.
Gotcha.
Because I know that you're like against that. You're like a man of God.
I actually have a OnlyFans. It's just feet, but
Oh, all right. We'll throw that out the window then.
The dating scene these days is I don't know. I feel like society's kind of hit a little bit of a breakdown point between all the brainwashing with the music that's out these days with, wet areas of the body and, all these kinds of, I feel like we've hit a new level of just ratchetness with our music and behavior. And, I guess it's kind of cyclical. Everything kind of happens and we get a little extreme and then we kind of reel it back in. But it's...
I just listen to country, man.
Yeah.
You know that song, Try That in a Small Town, with Jason Aldean?
Yeah, I remember when that came out, there was a little controversy around that.
That song's been on repeat for 3 years. Well, whenever it came out. Try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Like, that type of music is the stuff I listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Noble put me onto some, like, Confederate sort of music, so I've been, like, kind of bumping that a little bit here and there. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. I listen to some rap, but, like, the women scene, the men in rap music and in general, like, in music, is, like, sex, drugs, money. Women is, like, their body, that type of stuff you were talking about. So it's just, like... Yeah, it's degenerate, but that's like the way the culture is right now. The only way to fix that is to build your own culture, which obviously takes some time, but like that's what they've done with these artists. Is the labels just have so much money. All right, they say, all right, Alon, you're now a rapper, so we'll get you some dreads, we'll get you a chain, and I have $50 million to then send to the blogs, to then give to the platforms to get you on a playlist, because that's really what happens. It's like you make a song, I'm your label, I know everyone. So I get you a post on, let's say, academics. I get you a post on, let's say, World Star.
Mm-hmm.
$5,000 each, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then say, all right, I call up my boy at Spotify and say, yo, I got this new guy. We're gonna get him on the playlist, right?
Mm-hmm.
On like Rap Caviar.
Yeah.
Boom, done. That's how this shit happens. It's also like timing too. Like TikTok also contributes a lot to music.
No, absolutely. With them putting the songs that are trending on the videos, and that really helps to.
Yeah, but did you see what actually happened though recently? Is UMG, Universal Music Group,
Mm-hmm.
is now saying that artists can't have their music on TikTok,
I saw that.
which is horrible. They're upset that they don't get a 2% fee, but what they don't realize is that the artist itself having their music on the platform will then drive people to YouTube, to Spotify, to SoundCloud, to Apple Music to listen to the songs.
I think is what they're looking at is they don't want to empower the artist to have such a big reach to kind of stifle the independent nature of TikTok and social media, because they're starting to realize that a lot of these artists are able to independently grow labels and grow their persona through places like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube without the big agency. I mean, at this point, let's be honest, it's like, what did you need a record label for before? It's like, before when you needed to get inside the $1 million studio with
Get
the
on the
producer,
radio.
get on the radio.
There was no FYP algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. Now with a blue, $200 microphone, you can go ahead and produce.
Dude, I can make music
tracks
with one of these Shure mics.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's facts. I personally love TikTok though.
Yeah.
Like people hate on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
The way bigger threat is Meta, like in YouTube.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like it's the American-owned platforms that are the way bigger threat. We already know what they're doing. It's like, what is TikTok going to do?
Yeah.
The CEO's a G. He's a smart guy too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like I've seen him like in Congress, spitting facts. Like these people, like I like some politicians. I hate 99% of them.
Mm-hmm.
But these people that are 70, 80 years old questioning even Zuckerberg, right? Like Zuckerberg has done some crazy messed up things. He's done some good things. You got to look at it objectively.
Yeah.
But these people in the government that are questioning like the tech CEOs are idiots. They ask them the dumbest questions.
Well, they're completely outgunned. They have no idea what they're trying to ask the question. It seems like a pretty standard, obvious question. They just don't know the technicalities. They don't really understand the system. They don't understand the algorithms. They don't understand the incentive systems. So you're right. It's kind of like, your grandmother trying to explain the internet to you.
It's like your grandma telling you about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like your grandma shilling you a fucking rug pull.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
exactly.
It's your grandma shilling you a rug.
No, 100%. A Persian rug pull. Yeah.
Persian rug pull.
Well,
Why you make that face, Noble?
I mean, speaking of Bitcoin, did you see Bitcoin hit over the new all-time high?
Yeah, it's gonna keep. Whoa! Breaking notification. But Bitcoin is gonna go to 100K by June.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if we see that number close to the halvening.
Yeah, halving.
Halvening.
No, it's not halvening.
It's not happening.
No, it's not halvening. I told this to Noble too.
It's the having.
Halving.
It's like the happening.
Not having. HAV.
What's having?
LING. Having. New York Community Bank stock trading halted after 42% crash for the New York Bank. The dollar's going to zero.
Well, I mean, all currencies fail. I mean, it's still backed by oil and the U.S. military. I feel like, BRICS is...
Oh, yeah, the military that takes in transgenders and women. That military.
I believe so, yeah.
Noble's cracking up.
Why do you put the women in that group?
Dude, I saw all right, about the women. I love women. Women are great. And at the same time as they have specific roles, and so do men. There was this video I watched, video of the year. This guy goes, someone asked this guy, are you voting for Nikki Haley? And he goes, I'm not voting for a woman. And I'm just like, yeah, it was hilarious to watch. I don't know, I just thought of that. It was a funny video. I think most women watching this would agree too. It's just like, all right, beside Nikki Haley being a woman, she also has horrible policies, but like, she's also like, when it's that time of the month, do you want her negotiating with Putin and Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping?
I mean,
like,
there's very few people I want negotiating with those people to begin with anyway. So I think it really comes down to the caliber of a person that really understands global affairs.
dude, you just don't want to get canceled right now. That's the only reason you're saying this.
I don't think I'm really concerned about being canceled. I think it's
Noble
I think-
agrees with me too.
I think at
it's just
this
an
day and
objective
age, being
fact.
canceled is like a badge of honor. It means like you're actually speaking.
What are you afraid of?
Oh, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just honest to my perception.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, these days when people can't even figure out what a gender is, that, you know, I'm not even sure they're understanding what you're saying, you know?
Nah, you got people out here really saying that like they're a man when it's like, you're not a man.
Yeah.
You're not a man. It's what happened to women's rights. Well, I thought they wanted women's rights. Now they want to be men.
Well,
J.K. Rowling takes some heat for that.
Mm-hmm.
J.K. Rowling's a beautiful, beautiful lady. She deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, I think there should always be a voice that is disagreeable to the current narrative. And I feel like when people get upset just because someone is saying something that is different to what everyone else is saying, I feel like that's a positive regardless. We need to listen to opposing views and voices and challenge ourselves with what we think, and also reinforce what we think by hearing maybe something that's different that we don't agree with. I don't understand when we got to this point where people have just, they freeze up and they become so triggered because it is counter to their narrative. I feel like people can't hold to opposing ideas in their mind for more than 0.1 seconds without having some sort of emotional breakdown. So I think we have to continue to challenge these people to grow their, EQ, so they're able to have that emotional maturity and mental faculty to exercise the fact that someone might actually disagree with them and their point of view, and that they might have to actually consider that for a second.
All right, next pod, we're having a blue-haired feminist.
All right, Noble will be joining us with a blue-haired wig next episode. Do you hear about what Ryan Garcia is going around the internet and saying?
Yeah, Ryan Garcia is going through a mental breakdown. I feel bad for the guy. Like, I've seen a little bit here and there, like maybe one or two posts, but...
Yeah, I saw like a conversation with him and Andrew Tate talking about something about him being in the woods and young individuals being assaulted. And there's...
Dude, let's go investigate Bohemian Grove.
Call Alex. We'll get the jet. We'll chop her in.
Noble, you filming that?
Bohemian 2.0.
Yeah.
We'll bring Ryan with us.
Shani and Alana and Ryan Garcia go to the spot that Ryan Garcia was tied up in when he was 2 years old.
Oh my God. That's
what he said happened.
That's right. That's part of the conversation of what he said happened. And it's very confusing to understand what all of this means. Is this something that's current happened? Is this something happened before? Is this ongoing? What he is saying is something that we've heard echo through the dark halls of Hollywood. So this is not the first time we're hearing these types of crazy stories. All the way since back, when Alex said he went to Bohemian Grove back in the day, which, his description of that was a little bit more ceremonial and not so aggressive with this behavior we're hearing about now. But really hard to tell. I mean, it's an interesting situation and hard to really wrap your mind around what the facts are.
I'll tell you, by the next episode, we'll have more information. The story's not done yet. Episode 5, Conservative Podcast.
You heard it first.
See you guys next episode.